the social media through the social universe, and in many cases, the secrets of the universe itself. And we want to say thanks to all of you who are part of our secret sauce. So without you, we actually couldn't have a radio show. So we really appreciate all of our listeners out there. We also thank our advertisers for being a great part of the show as well. And a couple of our advertisers that we would like to send word out about. We have Planet Beach that gives you unlimited spa treatments for a very small nominal fee. And my favorite one is up there on 59th Avenue in Beren. And Glendale. So those of you who are Phoenicians and know that Glendale is the neighbor, then head up there, and it's a wonderful time during Christmas to get their memberships as a gift for yourself or for your significant other. And honestly, it's a great gift for, if you're a man, it's also actually pretty good. Don't think you're too manly for Planet Beach. It's actually a lot of fun. Even though today we're going to be talking about cancer, and I'm not, there's going to be some things probably talked about tanning beds. So, but at a minimum, go in there, be judicious about your use of the tanning bed. But also, there's all kinds of other things that are available for you as well. So, excuse me, choked on that as well. Okay, I wanted to introduce Dr. Dickens on the show. He is joining us from the Dayspring Cancer Clinic, and he's going to introduce himself since I'm a little bit ignorant about this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. A lot of ways, tanning beds, within a judicious motive, and that's going to be a beneficial aspect to one's life. Here in Phoenix, typical what I see on vitamin D levels when run a blood test is that people are very deficient in vitamin D. So anything I can do to get people having a higher level of vitamin D, because that's going to stimulate the immune system, and that's a whole big talk right there about vitamin D in the immune system. So I would encourage people to get as much sunlight or tanning bed, or again within judicious reason. It's a beautiful thing. But I'm a member of Dayspring Cancer Clinic. That's located in Old Town Scottsdale, and we can be reached at 480-699-7400. Again, that's 480-699-7400, and you can visit our website at dayspringcancerclinic.com.
And it's a great place to go, whether you're going on the website or whether you're actually going to visit the clinic in person. I definitely would advocate both. Go check them out on the website, and then go visit them at 6980 East 1st Street, which is essentially just right downtown Scottsdale. And a wonderful place, beautiful place, and they've done a great job with it. So it's they also have very friendly people there. And here's the important thing. I'm going to tell a little bit of a story about a friend of mine who was worth a lot of money. I mean, probably about $10 million. So for most of us, that means a lot of money. And he had a wonderful wife whom he loved very, very dearly. And she got cancer. And he decided that at all costs he was going to keep her alive. They were going to beat this thing. And I think Dr. Dickens will talk in a moment that sometimes your mindset has more to do with anything than many other things. So in other words, there's a lot of mental value in having a positive attitude about it. But you also need other things besides just positive attitude. And they made the mistake of going to chemotherapy and all the other different types of treatment, and I won't say full-blown mistake, but I will say that I think there are some things they could have tried along with, and they kind of wasted some time doing things that were very aggressive, and then he realized that there were other options, and so he spent most of his money on well, let's just tell you this. By the time he was done, he was only worth $1 million. And so he spent almost $9 million trying to keep his wife alive. And he did. He kept her alive for about 7 more years. So he really, really loved that woman. And he's also, it's so funny that they made a movie, and many times, movies, they bring in these amazing looking actors that you think, oh, well, the real people behind the scenes, they're not so beautiful, but this was a beautiful couple, and so she was very beautiful. He was a very, very handsome guy. And the point is that he absolutely loved this woman, and he felt that the 7 years that he bought of her life were worth the $9 million. But the point I want to make today is you don't have to spend $9 million to try to be able to get the very best care and the very best results. And it's too bad that he tried all of the more expensive things. And then he did some things that would be a little bit more expensive than we're going to talk about today. He flew to China. He tried every option he could in China. He went to Mexico. Tried every option there. He really went outside the box. And didn't realize that Dr. Dickens was around here. So anyway, I wanted to introduce Dr. Dickens now that I have my voice back, and my apologies. And all the time I've been doing radio, that's my worst attack. So I apologize to our listeners as well that I could barely speak there. The point is that Dr. Dickens has done a really great job from the standpoint of holistically treating cancer. We already heard him address a little bit about vitamin D, and thank you for the save as far as our advertiser, Planet Beach. I do agree with him that vitamin D is a very, very important part of keeping yourself healthy before you have cancer, but also definitely he'll talk about that a little bit more. So, Dr. Dickens, tell us a little bit about your center, and we'll talk about some of your methodologies a little bit in our next segment. But tell us about your center and what the experience would be if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, and let's say they have cancer, or they're worried they have cancer, or maybe they just had a biopsy and conclusions are just coming down the pipe. Tell us what they should do.
Well, certainly I would exhort them to seek out options. Cancer, when it's found, has been there from 6 to 10 years, and so nothing has to be done overnight. Obviously, certain cancers, there's a few rare cancers that are more critical, like ALL, acute lymphocytic leukemia, that Hodgkin's lymphoma, some of these others that are very aggressive, but for the most part, you can take your time and search out options that perhaps are not so readily seen and given. Now, typically, when you get a diagnosis of cancer, your oncologist is going to want to put you on something that afternoon, the next day, schedule you for surgery, do something really very, very quickly. But I want to have people with the majority of cancer step back, think about it, get calm. You don't have to do anything in a hurry. It's been there for 6 to 10 years, so you've got some time there. Yes, you have to make choices, but it's better to do the right choice than to do something that's quick and something that you would not want to do. Just like you said about the man, he did some things that he didn't want to do. So just taking that deep breath and exploring your options it sounds simple. It's extremely hard to do when people are in the crunch and everybody is upset. The oncologist is telling them they need to do this yesterday. But again, just taking that deep breath, listening, asking questions, finding out some other things that can be done is often will be more satisfying in the long term. So what we do, we have a 3,200 square foot building in Old Town Scottsdale. Everybody that comes in loves it. It's called a territorial. We have beehive fireplaces. It's stucco and vigas, a lot of wood on the interior, unfinished wood. It's very rustic, sort of a New Mexico style, what they call here locally a territorial. And it's a very warm and inviting place. We've assembled a wonderful team. We have a couple of nutritionists, various other people that come on. We have a medical doctor that works with us that is very old, very wise man. Oh, I'm going to get myself in trouble calling him very old. He's a retired cardiovascular surgeon, so he's been around, he's seen it. He's very wise. He has that grandfatherly approach, and people are very trusting to him because of that experience level. So I think that what we were able to do is, just from the center itself, is give somebody a center, a restful location where they can, as they go through the therapies, be peaceful and I think that's what you just said. That you've got to have that that quietness to be able to heal on the inside. Well, there's a lot of different things that we do. We are very much into IVs. So there's a number of IVs that we do a day, and depending on the person and their cancer, what they need, they might get 2 to 4 IVs a day. So we are very big into IVs, because when we're giving an IV, then we are bypassing the gastrointestinal tract, the GI tract, and we're absolutely getting whatever we are putting into the body. We put in something called a PICC line, so there's no needles being stuck. It's very pain-free. I don't want people thinking, oh my God, 4 IVs a day, I can't handle the needles. No needles. Sometimes people come in with a cord, but for the most part, we put in a PICC line, and there are no needles, so it's very, very pain-free. It's very stress-free. So a number of IVs, and we give people 4 organic juices. People don't really understand that in the year 1900, there were about 4% of deaths with cancer, and now we're, depending on who's counting, far beyond 4% of deaths being from cancer. And what has changed in that time frame is not that we have genetically changed, but the toxicity levels have changed. So it's a big thing that we want to do is detoxify people. So somebody's coming in on a fast food diet, or Snickers, or any of these, what they call the SAD diet, standard American diet. It's just not a nutritious diet. So we're giving people 4 organic green juices. We're not talking fruit juices. We're talking green, kale, and ginger. We have these drinks made up for us, and we're giving people a salad in the middle of the day. So our nutritionists, local nutritionists, will help people, instruct people about how do they translate this when they leave the cancer clinic. Because it's, you're not going to be there forever, and then you want to know how to do things. What are you going to do? How are you going to live life when you leave the clinic? And it's a really life-changing thing. Some people have said that it's one of the biggest things that ever happened to them in their life, because they're looking at life totally different. Their life totally changes. They're different people because of it. I mean, they've had to respond in a different ways, go outside of themselves, reconnect with family, with friends, change their lifestyle, change their habits, how they wake up in the morning and look at the day. Now they're thankful, that they have another day to live life. They're totally unique people. So, we have a number of IVs depending on the person, green drinks and salad. And then we finish up the day with a hyperthermia. We have 4 hyperthermia units at the clinic. One of them is a Photon Genius, which is a monster of a machine. It has color therapy along with 72 heating elements, infrared heating elements. So infrared will heat between 1 to 4 inches into the body. So again, like I was talking about, detoxifying, because a lot of toxins are stored in the fat cell. So when somebody is in there with the infrared, then they are detoxing from the inside out, literally. So, people can come in, and certain people, depending on what their field, if they've been working around oil and gas or pesticide business, they'll have that captured in their body, and they'll be excreting that through their sweat. So we use a lot of towels and really heat people up. Our goal is to get people up to 103. Now the German, it sounds high, but the German cancer clinics are pushing people up. They're trying to get up 106, 107. And they have to heavily sedate the patients, ice their necks to try to keep the brain cool. But I think that's, with our protocol, it's a little bit, it's good, but I don't know if it's all that necessary. If we can get somebody up to 103, then we're doing a number of different things for them. We're detoxifying, like I said. We're releasing something called heat shock proteins. Heat shock proteins actually come out, they were discovered with burn injuries. A lot of it called heat shock proteins, but they come out in all types of injuries. So one of the things that people need to do, their bodies need to do, is to identify that there is something wrong, that there is a cancer, that they're just not kind of living complacently with a tumor or a mass, but it's stimulating their immune system to go, well, what the heck is this? Let's get going. We need to attack this thing. We need to get this out of the body. It's not natural. It's not normal. We need to do something about it. And the hypothermia is one of the ways that we use to do that, to stimulate the immune system, release heat shock proteins, bring blood flow to the tumor. That's following the vitamin C IV, so it's actually not not getting too medical or technical, but it's kind of like angiogenesis on steroids. In other words, we're not just bringing blood flow, but we're bringing a vitamin C, which is toxic to the tumor, to that tumor. So it is not what the tumor wants. It's we're controlling the blood flow at that point. And also, tumor cells do not handle the heat very well. They're much more friable. They're much more sensitive to heat, and so it's going to kill in and of itself that temperature of 103. And by the way, I like to say to parents, if your child has 103, 104 temperature, that's a nice temperature. It's a good temperature.
Yeah, you can feel it, definitely.
Yeah, if you get up to 101, I'm going, well, maybe we should put that child in a hot water bath so we can't get it up a few more degrees. Well, and it's true. Parmenides said, give me a fever and I'll cure any disease.
I think that's what we think about it. That's what's happening naturally. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about how this, getting rid of the toxicity. Now, if you haven't already, make sure that you grab a pen and a paper, and when we come back from break, you want to be taking some notes here. Because if you don't have cancer, there's some really good advice on how to prevent cancer as well. Because if you really think about it, it's detoxifying your body and then making sure that things that don't belong there keep staying out of there. So when we come back from break, we'll talk about how to prevent as well as how to get rid of cancer once you have it. So we'll be right back after the break.